Welcome to the Boomer Technician Channel. It's Memorial Day weekend, and as we remember those who gave their all in service to the country, we're also going to go out and check out a couple of car shows. We're not on the road this week, so we're going to see what Colorado has to offer in the way of car shows rather than the rest of the country. Well, I only ended up going to one car show on Memorial Day, but it was a good one. You know, when there's classic cars in the parking lot, that the show itself is going to be pretty darn good. And I think you can see from the footage here that we had lots of cars to look at, all years represented, all models represented. This was the Applebee's Car Show at Westland Center in Lakewood, Colorado on West Colfax. And it's a really good deal. It's $10 to show your car, and attendance is free. So obviously, a lot of folks wanted to come in and participate. The show has been running a lot of years, and it draws a good crowd. And as you can see, the weather was excellent for the show. So it turned out to be a great time to look out and visit with cars. And we'll look at some of them in greater detail right now. And to start with, here's an interesting classic car that was just sitting in the parking lot. And I'm sure a lot of you haven't seen this in many years. A early 70s Datsun pickup in excellent shape. Outside of the spray-in bed liner and a couple minor rust holes, it looked like it just rolled off the assembly line. I'd really like to know more about the history of this truck because looking in this interior, outside of some dash cracking, it's just completely original and pretty pristine, which is also true of this first generation Celica Coupe. This is a 70, 71, or 72. And I talked to the owner. It's got a kind of interesting history. Somewhere along the line, the overhead cam four-cylinder was replaced with this push rod Hemi engine out of a Corolla, a 3TC. That's an 1800cc motor, and it's got a 5-speed behind it. So it's a somewhat modified car. You can see it's got the support strut running across the top of the McPherson struts, and the engine's been heated up a little bit. But the interior is pretty original. That steering wheel, of course, is not a factory wheel. But beyond that, the interior pretty much looks like it did the day it rolled out of the factory. Just a great little car. And here's a car that came along quite a bit after my youth. It's a 5th generation Honda Prelude, and the sharp-eyed amongst you may notice it's got a marker light on the fender there, which indicates it's a out-of-market car. And sure enough, we look in the inside, it's right-hand drive, probably a JDM import, and we can confirm that by looking at the back window. And sure enough, there's a wiper there, indicating this was a Japan market car. Continuing our import review, here's a De Tomaso Pantera GTS. De Tomaso built this car for about 20 years, but the GTS was an early model, and it appears that's a U.S. model given the rubber bumpers. And I really like these cockpit-style interiors in these 70s-era sports cars. And you know, I can't be positive, but I'm pretty sure that's a Recaro seat. And I'm pretty sure this is an early 60s, maybe even a late 50s Beetle. It's got the glass-covered headlights, no bumper overriders, and the wide chrome trim. But what's unusual is the paint job. Bugs are kind of known for their Easter egg colors, so this red and gray is a little more subdued and a kind of interesting approach. So this Nash or Hudson or AMC Metropolitan was built in England, so also an import, but it mostly caught my eye for the wind-up key on the back deck. If you're going to bring a Metropolitan to the car show, why not have some fun with it? And here's another English car. It may actually be smaller than that Metropolitan. And in terms of having fun, the fun of this car is had driving to the car show. These are just a great little golf cart to toss around. I thought it might be an English car, but it's left-hand drive, so it's probably a Survivor, originally sold here in America. Well, that does it for the imports, so I thought I'd let these two maroon Hudsons launch us into the American vehicles. Starting with this very nice 57 Ford Fairlane 500 two-door sedan, which is not a Skyliner. And you've all heard me joke about how every car show has a Skyliner somewhere. Maybe not today, but wait, what's this? A green 57 Ford Skyliner. So is it a joke, or is it just how car shows work? So going from a car we see pretty frequently at car shows to one you almost never see, here's a 57 DeSoto Adventurer Coupe with the top-of-the-line motor in it. It's got the dual quad Hemi 345 in it, which supposedly makes 345 horsepower for 1 horsepower per cubic inch. This car is very nicely turned out, and even looking in the interior, everything looks absolutely perfect and pristine. And here's another pristine car. I show a lot of these Chevy Nomads, but I just think they're a fantastic looking car. And this one is in great condition. It's got a 350 under the hood. It's a nice cruiser. And everything about the shoebox Chevys is nice. The interior, the engines, the exterior, just a great car. And here's an interesting contrast to that Nomad. This is a two-door Chevy wagon as well, and it's only 2 years newer, but it's got a lot of custom work done to it. That chop, the chop top, was very, very impressive. I thought that should be shared with everyone, and it was interesting. The top was so tightly lowered that I had a hard time getting a shot of the interior, but I caught one, and once again, a very nice car. Well, I've been GM heavy so far in this video, but boy, this is without a doubt my favorite year of Cutlass, and if it wasn't that yellow color, I would really be digging on it. But, the other thing about it is the roof goes down, and that allows me to forgive a lot of sins, including that pale yellow paint job. I was rather surprised to find this Astra today. You may recall 2 car shows ago when we were in Ohio, I ran across an Astra there, and thought it was a rather unusual finding. But here we are in Colorado. We've got another Astra built by Kellison Kit Cars. The nose is a little different. I guess it was damaged at one point and rebuilt. But there you go, 2 Astras in 3 car shows. And we've seen a number of these pre-war Chevys in these videos as well, but they always seem to catch my eye. Always like a neat small block in a well-dressed engine bay. And then in the interior, we've got the aftermarket steering wheel and the nice modern radio and just a well-screwed together rig. Now we've got a couple of AMCs to look at. This is a late 70s Pacer, and it was the V8 years, which you can tell from the raised hood. I was able to confirm this is a V8 car, but nobody was around to open the hood, so we'll have to settle with the exterior and interior shots. And then we've got this really nice Rambler American Coupe, just a eye-catching car. And taking a look in the interior, it's got an interesting twin stick setup for the automatic transmission, something a couple different manufacturers went with back in the 60s. And here we have a Studebaker Avanti. This is a little later than the original car, which you can tell because the headlight surrounds are squared off. But this one with the round headlight surrounds is absolutely a first or early second year car built by Studebaker. And it's got this cool aircraft-inspired cockpit with what looks like throttle controls in front of the shifter there on the center console. And now we have this very nice 68 GTO. A lot of them came in that green. That's a very 68 color. It's a highly optioned car. It's got the styled wheels and the hidden headlights, and under the hood it appears to be extremely original. So a very nice car overall. And looking on the interior as we pan down here, you can see it's got the dual gate shifter, which I believe Pontiac unfortunately referred to as the his and hers shifter. So different time for sure. After that very original Pontiac, we're going to look at a not original work truck. This is a 50s era Chevy, I believe, and it's been modified to have a rear seat and 4 doors, buckets up front, a center console, and of course a TV screen in the middle there. So all the modern conveniences. I don't know how you feel about this relatively rare Mercury Cyclone, but I think it's really cool. I certainly wouldn't want to break any of those grill pieces. I'm sure they're purely unobtainium. And here under the hood, a perfectly detailed engine that you could eat off of. So now we'll look at this Willis wagon. A lot of these were sold to farmers and ranchers back in the 50s, and they were popular out west because of their all-wheel drive. But what would these original buyers think of these if we jumped those folks forward to this car show and they saw an engine that made 3 times the original horsepower, and then they glanced in the interior and saw a tilt wheel with the wood accents? Would they think it was cool, or would they think, This is just a work truck. What are you doing? And when I saw this wagon, I thought to myself, why has that Ford got such weird taillights? And then I walked around front, saw the horse collar grill, and realized I was looking at an Edsel wagon. Kind of cool. But not as bitchin' as this lowered Cadillac convertible with the bright red finish and, the convertible top. And under the hood, we've got a big stonking 472 cubic inch Cadillac motor producing locomotive levels of torque. And this interior is just absolutely gorgeous with the red and black contrasting colors. Boy, this is this is a parade car, but it'd be a great car to just go cruise any day of the week. Well, we're running out of cars to look at, but I thought we'd include this Plymouth patrol vehicle and this really excellent, really old Volkswagen pickup. That's got to be a late 50s, early 60s. But to wrap things up, we're going to look at my buddy John's Cuda. It's a fantastic looking car. He's had it a long time and has put a lot of time and effort into making it just perfect. It's got a serious motor under the hood, high compression drag motor, and the interior is as nicely turned out as the outside. Just a fantastic car, and I'm more than happy to share it with you here today. Well, that wraps up the car show itself, but on the way home I ran into this rather interesting little white car. It's actually a Mazda Cosmo, which was sold here in the U.S. market with a rather different roofline. But this one is a Cosmo Landau, and the roofline reminds me very much of the Chevy Monza Pontiac Sunbird of the same era. This car is got solid composite headlights, which they never brought into the U.S. market. But you can see from the right-hand drive here that it is indeed JDM car somebody's brought out here, which is a very interesting spotting. And that, of course, reinforces what I always say. No matter where you go, there you are.